Why am I going live? Yeah. We're live already. I did not mean to hit.
Are we live?
I did not mean to hit go live. Wow.
Can't go back now.
Can't go back now.
We're here early.
We're live. Sorry, just a little bit early, guys. Whoops.
Tad.
Just a tad. I'm like, don't even have my starting soon screen. It's the Gaijin guys starting soon screen. So, whoops.
Well, you guys are Gaijin guys, so I'll take it.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm actually not a Gaijin guy, so that's the other guy's stuff.
But I just meant literally Gaijin,
literally.
Which means foreigner.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Foreigner. I never knew that.
Yeah, it's a not so great slang for foreigner.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I remember we had to ask a bunch of people permission about that. We're like, is this too offensive? They're like, no, maybe back in the day it was, but not anymore. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
No, everybody calls themselves Gaijin now when they go there, whether they're white or not. I lived there for a long time.
And then I'm
an Asian Pacific Islander. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So at one point I was fluent in Japanese. I'm barely conversational now, but I definitely know what Gaijin means.
Yeah, that's awesome. That
interesting fact.
Brings everything full circle. Well, we got Wretched Rob in the chat. He's the one who requested your song. He's the one who requested it. Yeah. He's a big fan.
What's behind you there? I love beautiful skeletons.
He's trying to save himself
for this interview.
I don't even have that. That's awesome. Thank you.
You're supposed to wait, Eric. We're not technically live yet.
I just wanted to drop it in surprise, you know?
Love it. Love it.
He's doing good. So it's man, I'm trying not to talk about wait till the time. I don't know what else to talk about until then. I want to address it right away. How's everyone doing? Let's talk to the chat. How you doing, Toasty? Welcome. TV vlog, welcome, Wretched Rob. Glad you could make it. We're making it up to Wretched Rob, you know. He felt attacked on that stream also, so he's
a good guy, Wretched Rob.
You say that now, but
you don't know him like we know him.
Let me explain. Let me explain some videos that he has showed us that Eric made reference to. Just kidding.
Was that the Peaches thing?
Oh, yeah. The what is it? Is it called Peaches, Eric? Was that the song?
No, that's the name of the artist.
Peaches. Yeah, the Peaches thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I made sure I remember. I made sure I remembered all the messed up things that Eric says, because normally it's me who says all the messed up things. So I took pride in this video, and I was like, I'm so happy I kept my comments nice.
Yeah. You know, when I gotta say, and we'll touch on this again at 2. I'm sure we're gonna have to rediscuss all of this, but I have to say it was pretty funny because I watched it through, and I kind of remember watching it and going how nasty are they gonna get? Are they gonna get personal? Where is this gonna go? And then it didn't. It was just very general, just I don't like this. It's not really my thing. The lyrics suck balls, and the video once makes me want to go to sleep, and the singer sounds like she's got some kind. So I mean, for me, I was like, oh my god, they're so nice. In my opinion, you guys could have gone way harder than that, and I had totally expected that for it to be even really truly offensive. And after all of that, I was just kind of yeah, great. I mean, at least we know that they're truthful about their general opinion on shit. It didn't bother me as much as I think it bothered some of the other people who enjoy our music, who was we can't stand for this. We have to throw a petition up, and I'm just it's the USA. This is, I've been to third world countries. This is the kind of shit that you're supposed to be able to do, right, on the internet. So let them have their opinion, even if their opinion is totally fucking wrong. It's okay.
well, I love what you said in the comment. I forgot what you said. I gotta read it again. But here, let me get this chat set up. Somebody mentioned something here. She's like, Greenlight Studio says, I do love how meh, not my thing, can still be a bonding moment. That is very true.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's very
Well,
true.
I'll tell you, you guys actually did compliment the production value of the song at least. And Greenlight Studios is actually who mixed and produced that song, our
Oh,
sound
okay.
engineer.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's like one of the most genuine guys ever. So I think he's joining us while he's editing and doing his thing too.
Nice. Well, welcome, Greenlight Studios. And hi, everyone coming in. Welcome, welcome. We started a bit early. Alan stopped downloading. You know what? That's. I mean, if Shell sent me a virus, I mean, I know Shell loves his fun images of tentacles. I hope he didn't siphon them to my computer. Have no idea what this vid is about. Okay, let me explain it. I guess we can get into it. I think I know there's a lot of more people rolling in, and we can we'll wait for them. Alan is used to finishing early. Well, we have a rating system for that now.
We starting the roast now? Goddamn.
Well, Wretched Rob, here. We'll talk about Wretched Rob. We roasted the shit out of him. It was part of the insults for like we what did we say? We said dad rock, and then it turned into calling Wretched Rob a dad and an old man, and turned into backfired on him. I kind of feel bad because he requested the song, but he likes it. He likes the abuse. Wretched Rob, he likes to be abused. So verbally,
he's a masochist.
He's a masochist. He is.
He is.
So give you a little backstory about Wretched Rob. Wretched Rob has sent us some of the most fucked up videos possible, and and it has been ridiculous. Like, what was it called? Dick in the air? Literally,
yeah.
Girls wearing felt with dicks. That's why I was making fun of Eric, because Eric was literally saying those videos were better than that one. I'm like, bro, that's a little
Yeah, that was a little irritating, but it was. If I'm going to be truthful about it, I was like, I don't know what video it is that he's referencing, but it doesn't sound great, so that's irritating. But other than that, like, it was all right.
They're very funny videos. They're entertaining, I should say. But yeah, I mean, something that stood out was the production, like you said. I mentioned it right away. But yeah, it's definitely a stylistic thing. Yeah, but I watched your live videos. And I was telling you before we started that I enjoy the live stuff that I saw. And normally when I hear a band that I'm not a fan of, and this happened multiple times, like Hatebreed, As I Lay Dying, a few bands, like a lot of bands that are like, blow up later. Like when I saw them live, I enjoyed it so much more. So yeah, like Pubaka said, welcome to Dicodec's weird community. So yeah. We definitely go that route. So anyways, let's give the story. So what happened was we did this reaction to one of the songs by Beautiful Skeletons. It was requested by Wretched Rob, who's in this chat. And we had some beautiful comments about the video. So to give everyone some context, I was going to pull this video up for everyone. And we'll take a listen, and you can watch Eric and I cringe as we watch the video.
Yeah. Just slowly die in the background. Like, oh, fuck.
And,
I can't believe I said that.
And then right while she's here, so we're gonna watch the video while she's here. I thought, entertainment, guys. We're here for you all. We like to, we're fair. We like to destroy ourselves. We can end up, and then whoever's in the comments, some of you motherfuckers are over here in the comments. You guys had some things to say too. Pubaka, I didn't think Pubaka says something. I'm not sure. I don't know if you guys are here with us. But anyways, let's play the video. I'll kind of skip over to the comments because they're pretty funny, and go from there. So you ready, Eric? And then, this is what started this interview, which I'm actually happy about. I love interviewing other bands across the world, across the country, here in the U.S. So I think it's a cool thing to get bands together. Whether you like the music or not, like everyone's human, and it's cool to interact with other people that are doing the same passion, have the same love for music. So that's why I'm so happy that you're down to come on. I appreciate it.
Nice save, dude.
Before we start though, you want to tell everyone about yourself before we go and show the story, paint the story for everyone.
Yeah, so my name's Tina Firefly. I front a band called Beautiful Skeletons. We're 4-piece out of the Pacific Northwest. We would classify ourselves sort of as alt metal. We have a lot of online fans that like to shop our music videos to different reaction channels because they're awesome like that. Unfortunately, Rob shopped the suffering to, how do you guys pronounce your name again? Is it Dicodec?
We'll go with that. We'll go with
Dicodec.
Dicodec. Yeah, for
Sorry.
this interview, sure.
For this interview, it probably should be Dicodec. You know, I'll totally take that.
Yeah, okay, so Dicodec decided, no, I'm just kidding. Dicodec, who doesn't normally watch this sort of, I guess, video, like slash genre of metal or whatever you want to call it, did the reaction for Rob, but it kind of went sideways as they did not feel that it was very entertaining or anything that they would listen to. I think Eric at one point talked about falling asleep. Yes. And then Alan, something about like, I don't know. There was a bunch of comments. It wasn't a great reaction. And I got into the comment section because, listen, like you guys do this for a lot of different music videos, and regardless of your opinion or not about it, doesn't change, you know, how I see the music. And I just thought it was nice that you, at the very least, finished your reaction, you know, and didn't just cut it off halfway through and be like, this is fucking shit, you know, and just like not even finish the video. To me, that would have been worse than you guys just finishing the reaction. So I left a comment in the comment section basically saying, thanks for finishing the video. Sorry, it sounded like killing angels and
oh yeah, you're like killing dogs. And that's what I was gonna ask you. Did one of us say that? Because we went back. We were live yesterday, and we were like, "I'm not even joking." We were telling the story on Twitch yesterday, and we're like, "She said that something about dying puppies," and I'm like, we went back and watched. I'm like, "Who the fuck says something about dying puppies?" Because Eric is like, "Oh fuck, I gotta explain why I said dying puppies." Like, this is great. I was just like,
I don't even remember saying that. Like.
No, I totally inserted that penis in your mouth. You never said anything about dying puppies. I thought that was like the first thing that came to my head for whatever reason. So that's what I typed in. But I was surprised when you guys actually like highlighted the comment and then asked if I wanted to come on. And I'm thinking like, okay, so this is either a really good thing and they're actually really cool guys, or I'm going to come on here and get like, I don't know, punched in the face virtually by one of these guys are going to trick me into doing a secondary roasting session. Either way, if you know who I am at all, for anybody who's watching who's a fan of Beautiful Skeletons, you know I do not shy away from these sorts of conversations. If anything, I like starting them. I am a shit starter. So that's kind of where we're at.
Well, for us, we thought you were cool because the way you commented. Everybody was like, in our community was like, man, she took that like a sport. Like she was like, didn't like shy away from it. She just, and I was like, and then I looked at Eric. I'm like, I'm gonna invite her on. And he's like, really? Like, and then he said yes. And then I told Eric, I'm like, she said yes, bro. And then I looked him straight in the eyes. And I'm like, and you said the worst shit.
The one time, like literally the one time I like didn't like something. I'm normally the guy like, oh, that sounds cool. Or like try to find something that I like, but yeah.
Oh yeah, no, Eric was like, I mean, I even made like a little note of the timestamp in your reaction video where your face went from like, okay, to just straight up like, ah, shit, this is shit now. There's like a specific second where your whole face just kind of drops.
Oh my God.
Just rewatching it with a friend, and I was like, look right there, look at that dude's face. It's like a shit in his cereal all of a sudden. I took a dump in your Cheerios at the like 6-minute mark, and I was like, holy fuck, he really hates this. So by the end of the video, I was totally expecting you guys to get way worse than you got. And so I was just kind of like, oh, yeah, actually, I think we kind of escaped that one. It was not too terribly bad.
So at that point, you said, not a good reaction. I mean, technically, it was kind of a good, like, as in, it was good as a reaction.
Well, I'll tell you, in that moment,
roasted us by saying it was a bad reaction.
In that moment, I summoned my inner Cardi B, and I don't know if you guys remember that moment at the MTV Movie Awards where she's like, "Ha, all my haters out there, I get clicks even though you hate me." And that for me was my inner Cardi B moment, because I was like, all right, cool, let them generate this discussion, and in the process, we have all these people clicking on the video because they're curious. So either way, it's a win-win for us. I can't complain.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and like I said, it's all about like, like I said before, like I really mean that. We've listened to a lot of songs that were just like, I don't get it, or like, and I'm sure there's people that listen to our music and they're like, I don't get it. I'm like, fair enough.
Right.
But there's no reason to like freaking hate each other, over
Well,
it.
I just thought it was funny. And I, in that comment, I even said, here's a link to the second music video. Like, go ahead, let's do this.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Listen.
She's like,
click on Kraken and roast me again for another 5 minutes. I'm down. I'm here for that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was, I remember reading that. I was like, wow, she wants to do another reaction. Now we gotta go
Live
deep in the
Let's
roast.
go. Live roast.
Okay, so now that I think we're on the time, we're already 5 minutes in. So if you guys just joining, this was our reaction to Beautiful Skeletons. Let's go ahead and check it out. And is it, you said Tina or Lena?
Yes.
Tina. Okay. Here it is. Support, man. It's a brand new band. Brand new band here, guys.
Hopefully it's not
Let's
weird
go.
like the other shit.
See what you did, Retro Rob? We can't take any of your picks serious anymore. See?
Yes.
You fucked it up. Now we'll never know if it's going to be. No, it wasn't weird last time, was it? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was.
What foreshadowing, huh? Like the foreshadowing on Eric's comments. Look at his face.
Oh,
You're right.
Wait, you'll see the second that I'm talking about. Hit play again. I'm going to point it out.
I think it was once the vocals kick in.
See, he's like doing this. I'm like, okay, cool. He's feeling it.
It's a good sound. Already out the gate, the tones are fucking solid.
So at this point, I'm like, my little girly boner is going up. I'm like, all right, okay. And there it is. That is the moment that I realized that this was going to go off the rails really quickly. Right there is all he needed to say. And we talk about like forensic psychology and body language. That right there is a big fuck no. Just all over his face is a big fuck no. It was hilarious.
Oh my God. I can't. Oh, it's funny every time I watch it.
And that face right there on you, sir, that's a diplomatic face. I'm secretly feeling inside like Eric is feeling, but I don't want to show it because it's only been like 30 seconds.
You're right. I'm definitely making the diplomatic face because you know what I was waiting for? I'll tell you exactly what I was saying. I'm like, okay, interesting vocals, how this goes with it. And I was like, I wonder how the chorus is going to come in. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, all right, let's see how this develops. So you're dead on with that. Eric,
your guys' faces just don't get any better from here. I'm telling you. Rewatched this already.
Oh my God.
Is this how you choose to punish me?
You actually sighed halfway through there. Stop yourself.
You said he actually what?
You sighed. You were like, and then you stopped yourself from exhaling really dramatically.
You know, it's
Who, Alan or me?
You know what's funny is
no, Alan did.
You know what's funny is we've been watching this, like, I've watched this now so many times, like, the song's actually, like, growing on me because I've heard it back so many times. You know how that happens, right? You're like, I don't like it. And then you're like, after you hear it for the time, like, man, why did we think, why was our initial reaction this bad? But it's the initial reaction. That's how it goes, you know?
Exactly.
Exactly.
So now you know, if you don't like the suffering, just listen to it 1,000 times and your suffering will be greater than the actual suffering from the first reaction. So you'll remember the fucking lyrics.
I really think it's like, I forgot what I was going to say, but it's happened to me with like a lot of bands where, what was a band that, it was this band called Bish. Could not get into them to save my life. And finally they got me. They got me with some songs and I went back and listened to the ones I didn't like. I'm like, why did I think this was bad before? Like, you know, it's one of those moments. Bro, we're so stiff.
Oh, it's bad. Like that girly boner died. It was like my penis shriveled up and just kind of fell off at that point. I was like, man, okay.
I felt when the song was playing, so I'm just kidding.
Here's the first.
Own that shit. If you're gonna say it, own it. It's okay. I'm
Eric
here
did.
live with you guys.
Eric did. He did own it, that's for sure, which was shocking for me because I was like, whoa. Like, that's why I was laughing.
You got up and you, like, straight up left part of the way through the song to go get yourself a beer or something.
He pulled out his guitar, which I think is more fucked up. He pulled out his guitar and did a solo over your guitar solo.
Oh, I regret that. My only twinge of actual anger was when you soloed over my guitarist solo, and I was like, what the fuck? Nothing up until that point pissed me off, but that moment, I was like, that's just disrespectful.
I apologize. I didn't realize a solo was coming in. I was like, oh shit, he's actually soloing already. I was like, whoops.
The song started out pretty good. The music was okay, and then the vocals came in. I'm not sure.
I don't know why it's funnier every time.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be the fact that it's layered of vocals that it's not hitting with me. But yeah, I'm not digging this at all.
It's good.
I just realized you're wearing a Skillet shirt.
Yeah.
That's why I was shocked that he didn't like it, honestly, because not saying you guys sound like Skillet, but like but there's some chord structures and chord things that I could hear chord wise that Eric would like. Like, this is honestly, these are riffs that I've heard Eric write, so I didn't even think he would dislike this, honestly. But I guess, like he said, it was, I guess, the vocals. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Like, to be fair, I still think the music is good. Like, the music is good. It's just like the whole vibe of it that was just like, oh my gosh, like it's very laid back. It's very like chill, you know?
Yeah. And to your credit, you did say it was very laid back. I've just never heard anybody use that phrase as like a negative thing. Most of the time when people are like, it's really laid back, it's like a good thing that they say that. In this case here, it was like the total opposite. I'm like, okay, so he's not into laid back. Got it. Check.
Yeah,
which
that's
I normally
what it
do, but this one was like excessive. That's kind of where the comment came from.
Excessively laid back.
How
got
though?
It.
I don't get how it's excessively laid back. I'll tell you straight up, me, I don't like laid back stuff as much. I like more jumpy, more poppy, like more like that kind of metal. So for me, I know like it doesn't matter. It's excessive or not excessive. Like if it's really chill, it's very hard for me to get into. Is like I remember, I was like, here's a great example. Like Chevelle, I can never get into. I was like, oh my god, this is droning. But then I saw them live and we played for them, and I was like, holy shit, they're fucking amazing. So I don't know. It's one of those things. I feel like that style of music is so hard to capture on CD, in my opinion, because when I watched your live clip of that you had, I think it was in May, that was totally different than, not totally different, you sounded the same, which was impressive, by the way. You sounded perfect, flawless note wise. And I was like, holy shit, like this is legit. Like you can tell like there's no serious processing on your voice, that you're doing that. That's what your voice going on there. So that was really cool to hear that. That's what I think Eric needs to hear. You'll see what I'm talking about, Eric, because that was really good on that live one. But anyways, we'll get back to this.
You guys actually remind me of thinking about it now. You guys remind me of Deftones. And I don't like Deftones.
That's great. Oh.
Yeah, I don't like Deftones either. Are we making this worse? I think we're.
No, you can't. Listen, your opinion is your opinion. You can't make it any worse or any better. I mean, if I was truly offended by your guys' comments, which would be a total waste of energy, I wouldn't be here. So, exactly. I mean, I think it's great that we get to like secondary analyze your own analysis. I mean, I think it's fucking awesome.
Well, you know, and that's why I think like people come for reactions are like, well, we know they're not going to bullshit. Some reactions are boring. That's just not our thing. Yep. That's what it is.
I really do. I hope at some point you guys go and do a true reaction, because now it might be different, right? Because I've talked with you. You like
it is going to be different.
Know me.
Yeah.
But I really wish you had done that for Kraken, because I really would have loved to see like what sorts of things would come off your faces.
I don't know. I don't know if that sways me after talking to a person. It really does. I'm going to be straight up honest. It does. After I get to know somebody and I find out they're a really cool person, like yourself, like it does sway it, because then I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know how. It's hard to ignore.
Different lens. Right?
Yeah. It's hard to ignore. It's like when your friend's like, oh, check out my band. You're not gonna be as critical, but sometimes I can be. Sometimes I can shut it off. And then I've had friends get pissed off at me. They're like, bro, you're just saying that because blah blah blah. You're jealous or something. I'm like, no, that's not it. But okay.
We definitely do that to each other.
Choose like the moments of your life where you choose to get offended or choose to get angry. I mean, there's just so many other more important moments where you can kind of direct that negativity. This was not one of them for me, so that's why I was all in. I was like, oh, let's do this.
For sure. All right.
Music's good. The mix is like wonderful too. It's like very, very balanced.
Yeah.
And I mean, the best way I could describe it is like dad metal.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it reminds me of really old school metal. I need to make some adjustments real quick.
He's just out. He's like, nah.
No, I had to turn on the AC. Okay.
It sounds like there's two vocalists singing at the same time, so it's very weird.
Oh, it's the internet issues.
Very, very weird.
You know what? I'm gonna do that right now. Get my other monster.
What are you guys thinking so far? Other than Wretched Rob, I know you dig this.
I'm very
What if this
awkward
is
once
Wretched
Alan
Rob's
leaves,
band?
so that's
He's a
why I
member of
started
this
rambling on there.
He's trying to
I
promote
know
his
you
band.
were like asking everybody, what do you guys think?
Trying to what?
It's Wretched. This is Wretched Rob's band. He plays in this band.
Okay, that
plays
was
in his
pretty
band?
funny.
I don't know. That's my theory.
Oh, I was gonna say that's
Wait, did you
fucking
just call
badass.
me a dad? You fucker. I'm the singer.
I'm this. Oh, I knew that was Retro
I think
Rob.
you're the bassist. You're the bassist.
No,
Stop
he's the
fucking
singer. He's definitely the singer in this.
Okay.
100%.
But
Not even close to the bassist. I had to replicate the video, and go get a monster.
There you go.
Yeah, no, we're having internet issues on the Twitch stream. That's what happened there. I swear it was not the music. By all means, this is not bad, but I disagree with Eric on that. Like, yeah, it's a very old school sound overall. This is a really good comment. Chris just said in the chat, blatant honesty is something guaranteed to get from Tina. And that might be why maybe intrigued you about us, because you're like,
Yes.
well, these guys are being fucking honest. Like, I'm honest. So you probably you kind of see that respect with people, right?
yeah.
When you realize this, when somebody's full of shit, It's a big thing in the reaction space. There's a lot of reactors that's just full of shit. Like, there's no way around it. You can tell. And you can tell they're beating around the bush. And a lot of people don't like that. On the flip side, there is some people that just want to hear, you're amazing and awesome, no matter if it's real or not. So I guess it's like, It depends on the audiences and stuff, right? But.
Mm-hmm. Did you just slam that monster in like 3 seconds?
Yes.
Darkest whisper, the seed of hate, growing deep inside my face, nailed into the palms of my hands.
Yeah, there it is.
Wait, oh yeah, Eric.
Here it comes.
Eric's like fucking done right here. Why am I smiling?
You're smiling because you think the lyrics are fucking ridiculous. That's why you're smiling. You're about to illuminate us here.
Oh, okay.
My face, nailed into the palms of my hands. Is this how you choose?
I like your growls. I didn't mention that, but yeah, I like your growls.
I prefer the fucked up videos from Wretched Rob.
yes. At least those are fun to watch.
I'm over here going, oh God, what did he send them prior to this?
Oh my God.
Oh man.
That's great. But then you follow it up with your comments about the lyrics.
Oh
Play on
God.
that fucker. Go ahead, hit play.
This one's like, yeah,
We're just. Is
can't.
this turned into a Wretched Rob roast stream?
I can't with this video, man.
I'm like trying not to be an asshole, but no, yeah, I'm not feeling
You
it.
can't like everything.
I
guys. Come
can't.
on,
I'm
man.
not feeling it. It's like, this is like I went from diplomatic to like I can't hold this.
The music sounds decent. Like the music sounds pretty good. It's just the vibe is very, very laid back.
I have nothing nice to say, so I just don't say anything at all.
Just be quiet. Yeah.
I'm trying to obey, Daddy Rob over there, just
Papa Rob.
Papa Rob.
Papa Rob.
Call him Papa Rob from now on. There's nothing bad about it. It's just I'm not saying it's bad. It's
not bad. Just not a thing.
yeah, not my thing.
Don't all talk over
Hey,
each
that
other.
Peaches video was fucking funny as fuck.
Let's say you say, you still you say everything's gonna be okay.
The lyrics, those lyrics. Like I said, I really regret this. I know, like I knew there was gonna be a fucking solo coming, but for some reason in my head I'm like, nah, there's probably not a solo coming. As soon as I pick up the guitar, I'm like, fuck, a solo came in. I felt like such an ass. I was like, God damn, I should have known. I should have known there was a solo.
Solo that bitch. Go.
Hey, Eric told me. You heard that, right? He says.
Yeah, okay, blame it on him.
You were already acting though,
Yeah,
so
You're like, solo rig, go. You egged it on, Eric. Because what I was going to do is break down the song, actually. I was going to pause it and then like, okay, let's figure out what key it's in and then go over it. And then, but yeah. Here we go. I'm going to solo over.
Not a bad accompaniment. Yeah, I think this was about the time that I was like, okay, dude, you just fucking took your banana yellow ass guitar and soloed over my own guitarist solo. This is the only true moment of irritation for me was right there. I'm like, put that fucking guitar away and listen to the shit.
if it was a good solo, it would have been one thing, but it was actually a bad solo.
It was not bad
improv.
until the end
It was
because
a
then I
bad improv.
realized. I don't think it was bad improv. At the end it was because I went to fucking a blues scale because I realized he was soloing. I was like, oh, fuck. And then I was like, now I feel like an ass. That's exactly what happened. That's why I like defaulted to that. I'm like, dun dun dun. And I was like, put the guitar down. I was like, what are you doing?
At least you noticed.
Yeah. I'm sorry, he's actually playing a solo. He's playing that solo. My bad. But that's the key they're playing in. It's E minor. D minor, sorry. Oh yeah.
Can your guitarist confirm that?
They play in drop C, so yeah.
Oh, I can't see the video. Oh. Sorry, guys. Don't worry. The video wasn't important. No, I was kidding. It's okay. Rob had your back. He was calling us fucking toddlers. Or I think he's talking to the chat. He's calling us all toddlers in the chat. Wait, is your arm on fire right there?
Yes, very much so.
Tell me about that. I did not see that the first time I watched it. I was just like, wait a second, her fucking arm's on fire.
Yeah. Are you guys familiar with the band Venturesea?
No.
Nope.
Oh, that's too bad. There's a cameraman out here in the Pacific Northwest. He's like kind of a local legend. His name is Carl Winnery. He does all of the really, really good music videos. Despite the fact that you guys thought this was boring, it's actually a really good video. He had fire burn gel with him. So at the very end, after the pour scene, I was like, well, what other crazy shit can we do in this video? Can you light me on fire? So basically, after we did the syrup pour, which was like chocolate syrup and Caro syrup, because we couldn't use anything that looked like blood.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like covered in 100 pounds of syrup. And then they're like, well, let's do the fire scene. So my whole arm was covered in the burn gel, and they just kind of lit shit on fire, which I picked up. And then at one point, it followed my fishnet up my arm, and my whole arm was on fire, but I couldn't fucking feel it because of the burn gel.
Oh.
So there's an outtake somewhere where like they both drop camera and they're running at me with urgency, and I'm totally oblivious. I don't know. Like half my body's on fire.
Did it leave any burn marks on your arm or no? Nothing?
No. That's what that burn gel is for. Apparently that shit is illegal here in the US. You have to get it in Canada unless you're a firefighter, and then you have access to it. But
what? Yeah, because they probably don't want idiots setting themselves on fire, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah.
That's crazy, though, because you didn't feel nothing. Like, I learned something new today. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was cool and weird and scary all at the same time.
So you missed the one cool part of the video. No, I was kidding.
Exactly.
So, on a positive note, like, it's good. It is good. There's nothing bad about it, like somebody had mentioned in the comments. There's nothing bad about the song. It's a good song. It's really great recording. It's actually a really good mix overall. It just doesn't do anything for me, like, personally. It's just not the style I listen to at all. But, you know, I'd have to probably, you know, I don't know. Yeah, that's something I couldn't get to. There's no matter how many listens I give that. That would never stick in my head, probably. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. It's still good, though. Her vocals are good. The screams are good. The guitars are good. Drums are good. It's all very solid. Just nothing I really would want to listen to.
Done more, some more screams. You can hear them very faintly in the background. I thought it would be cool if she added a little bit more of that. But yeah, I mean, musically wasn't bad. And vocals was not a fan of, but...
Yeah, but it wasn't like she was singing wrong or anything.
Not at all.
She's singing perfectly in
Thank God.
key and everything. It's, you know.
It was more the effects on your vocals that
I think it was just those layered.
Wasn't a fan of that.
Check out another. See, and that's where I disagree with Eric. Like, I think the mix was good anyways, and the effects were fine on it. It was just not our style. Because I know the style that mix is. Like, I've heard it. It reminds me of like a modern of that hard rock metal sound that was in the late 90s. Like, that's what it reminded me of, but really polished, because back in the 90s it was more like not as clean as your guys' mix was, you know what I mean? Because now with the newer technology, it sounds like that. So it sounds like those 90s recordings, but modern. So it's like, I think it's trippy for like someone, Eric, to hearing the modern music, because he's younger than I am, and he's used to a different realm of music. 6 years difference, you know, so like he's used to a different realm of music, where me, like, I've heard this style before, like has the Alice in Chains with other metal, like that's what reminded me of. I don't know if you're a 90s fan. I'm a huge 90s fan, so that's why I'm like, I know this style, like I've heard this, but like it was more on the chill side of it, you know. But
so this is a really interesting dichotomy that I've run into a lot with our music. And granted, like, if you haven't heard any of our other things, it might throw you off to actually hear every track on the EP is a different style. I would say 90s is pretty much a baseline, because we all have sort of
Seven
that
Dust,
influence.
Think Screen Lights. That's the band I was thinking of. That's exactly what the guitar tones were almost reminding me, because when I saw them live in New York, KLAQ. Yeah, I'm from New York originally, so I watched those bands. That's what it was. I can remember. I forgot all about Seven Dust. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, totally fine. That's a huge compliment for us because we love Seven Dust, we love Alice in Chains. Can't deny that like a lot of that is going to have influence in what we're doing. But the Pacific Northwest metal community feels pretty like generally pretty much the same sort of mentality as you guys do. Like you have like this niche subgenre of metal, and like anything that's outside that subgenre of metal is just not metal enough. So what we end up running into is like, because a lot of our shit's really dynamic, like you referenced listening to one of our other tracks that was a live practice take. It's a lot heavier than The Suffering is, and we have things that are even heavier than that. But we don't write by that principle. We write by the principle of like, does it all sound good to us? And then we allow it to take us wherever it takes us. And so what happens is we kind of straddle this fine line where we have some things that are really heavy, and then we have things that are really melodic. So when people try to put us on the bill with somebody that's really heavy, then you have those fans going like, well, Beautiful Skeletons isn't that heavy. Like, why would they be on this bill? But then the opposite happens when we're on a bill where everybody's a little more melodic. And then they're like, Beautiful Skeletons is way... Yeah. So, I mean, either way we go, we're going to offend some subgenre of like, kind of like the elitist metal community where they live in that subgenre. Anything outside of that isn't really truly metal. And so I expect that to sort of color people's preference, especially like in this area. And then when we went on tour, I mean, like to your point, when you see a band live, it changes the opinion that you might have had prior. So we were able to change a lot of minds and get people to like our music, even though it's pretty dynamic in what we do.
Going to what you said, it's so funny because both of our bands have had the same problem. Exactly the same thing. We were too weird because we're too melodic, too heavy. Same exact thing. We have songs, and it's very 90s influence. Like, if you hear our songs, we definitely have a hardcore 90s influence, mainly because of me. Eric's sound, not so much. He would probably be, like, later, like, 2010-ish sound, like, is what it comes off of. Rather, I don't know if Eric agrees with that or not. You know, say...
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, like, so... It's, he helps kind of balance it out, but we're a very progressive band. And so I guess this must be a US thing then, because that was another thing. If we didn't sound like if you don't sound like Pantera in El Paso, Texas, you're fucked. You know what I mean? Like, unless you find that really niche crowd, and it's hard because not a lot of people are willing to go from clean guitars to a different distortion and another distortion. Or like for me, Eric and I, where we have common ground, it's metalcore. We love metalcore, so we have metalcore, and then all of a sudden it's like we have like some jazz random thing coming in the middle. And that's why we ended up falling in love with Japanese music, because a lot of the music is like what we like to write. So that's how we fell into that rabbit hole of Japanese music, and as you saw on the channel,
totally makes sense.
Turns into that. Yeah.
And then there's another side of that too, like the whole female fronted thing, I mean, like there's a lot of debate over that. But there is some expectation from an audience when there's a female fronted metal band. They either think that you're going to be like, I don't know, like Evanescence, for example. It's just going to be all pretty vocals and floaty and shit. Or that you're going to be like Arch Enemy and just screaming the entire time. Nobody ever seems to remember that there's a middle. It doesn't have to be really one extreme or the other. So, I mean, that's the other thing that I've personally run into when fronting bands in the past. It's like they see me and then they have some weird expectation of what they're going to hear from me. And I always don't match whatever it is that they think they're going to hear. That's
a really true point, because there's bands that I like Avenged Sevenfold, All That Remains, when they first started off, they were a mix of screaming and singing. Guess what all those bands went on to doing? Just cleans. They completely ditched screaming. Like, so I'm sure they probably felt the same exact things. They're like, well, people are on the fence about this, too divisive, so what are we going to go with? All right, all clean, because at least we can get on the radio more often with that. Because remember when, like, Waking the Fallen came out, and, like, This Dark and Heart, all those bands like Atreyu, all of them started going fully to clean afterwards after a while, or they start doing some version of emo kind of style or completely switched up. So I think it's a thing in the U.S. where people are just like you said, they don't want. It's like they don't want the middle ground. I love the middle ground. I want to like for me. Here's a good thing about the song that we just listened to by you is I feel like your screams were at the part of the story or part of the lyrics where it was needed and not just done just because. Is that right? Or
yes, absolutely. And that's really like Josh's work from Greenlight Studios. Like he was very adept at like where to place my vocals, where to place the clean stuff, where to place the screamy stuff. And it's really weird because when I listen to this version, it's so different than, and not in a bad way, it's just different from how it sounds live. It's definitely more raw live. It's definitely polished for the video, but it looks like we have a comment from Scott. Thank you, Scott.
Scott is who's Scott?
Scott Cross with Music Nation.
Oh yeah. Tina's vocals are dynamic and she has a great tone, whether it's on screaming or a combination. Yeah, no, I agree. And then what were you saying?
It's just, it sounds so different from the live version. Like the non-polished version of this song definitely has a different vibe in my opinion. And it's not a bad thing. It just is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I've always been a fan of, like I said, I like it when the screams and stuff are done to carry on the story of the song or like elicit emotions and stuff like that. I mean, of course, I was younger when I was like angry and hated everything. Like, yeah, I want fucking screams all day long. And I listened to death metal nonstop. As I got older, I'm like, like I'm done.
I thought you were going to say Stain for some reason.
That. Oh my God. I did listen. Stain used to be a heavy fucking band at one point. They used to be at one point. Their first album.
How many albums can you make where you're just really pissed off and angry at your parents? I mean, I feel like when you start creating your own spawn, you start realizing like, oh, my parents weren't as fucked up as I thought they were. So he had a baby and all of a sudden the next album's all like, I've had epiphanies and it's sunshine and rainbows, and it was just totally different.
I mean, think about like Korn going from like a song like Daddy to like all the pop whatever stuff that came out on that one album. Like, wow, they had like dubstep and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that did surprise me, but I feel like at that point in your musical career, you just have carte blanche to do whatever the fuck you want. You know, you want to create like industrial dubstep, Japanese speed metal, fucking do it. You know, everybody will still love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's really cool. Like how I think what happens too is like when bands are starting off, you know, they're venting a lot. You know, that's a lot of, for some people, it's like venting, you know, and then after that, you let go of it finally, and they're like, okay, well, let me talk about my, or like country singers, like, let me talk about my new truck I just got. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
I feel like country gets a pass on their lyrics. They just literally can talk about wherever the fuck they want, and their fans do not care. I am not a huge country
Me neither.
music person.
Yeah.
So this is me burning country music, but now I'm going to get lots of hate from people who are like, I came to support you and you shit on my country music. So sorry if you are a country music fan.
This is something I learned while listening to Japanese music, and put a different insight for me for country music. Love Bites is a power metal band, a Japanese power metal band, but they sing in English, and they're really positive lyrics. And when I first heard them, I'm like, these are kind of cheesy. And I said that out loud. I'm like, these lyrics are cheesy. And then I was like, people gave me tons of shit about like, oh, it's just because you're in the West. You guys are used to depressing, negative bullshit. And I'm like, you know what? They're right. They're right. I was like, they're right. And then I looked at country a little different. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I hate this because it's too fucking positive.
That's a good point. That might be why I hate it too. Like, it's either all love songs or like, you know, God bless the USA and all that whole thing. And I just feel like for me personally, that's pretty boring. But
yeah, but like at the same time, like maybe like I might have went a little too deep on this. I was literally like, man, I gotta do some like inward thinking here. Like, why the fuck are you so miserable?
Well, and then another thing to keep in mind for like metal from other parts of the world, especially for metal that's like fronted by a lady or is like they're all chicks in the band, at least for certain Asian countries, that is so rare and it's very new that it's even like socially accepted, that I don't think that those bands, even if they wanted to sing about more realistic or negative opinions, that they would really have an audience for that, especially for Japan, because that they're still breaking out of that shell, and different other Asian countries are like that too, where it's like having an all-girl metal band is super rare, and then what they have to say lyrically is also scrutinized probably more so than other bands are.
That's true. Very true. Now, you had mentioned before we started, so did you say you're from over there, or you're aware of some Japanese stuff? You used to know Japanese? Tell everyone that story, because everyone's interested in the Japanese music scene on this channel.
Yeah, absolutely. I've noticed it's like really huge in the US in general. There's just like this huge fetishizing of the Asian culture, which I don't know. It's fine with me. I'm Asian Pacific Islander. I was born and raised in the South Pacific, and I have an Asian background. And when I moved over from Saipan, which is this little tiny island in the middle of nowhere. But I don't have an accent because my dad used to find me, like growing up, he'd be like, if you say a word that has an accent, I'm going to fine you 10 cents a word. So I learned how to turn it on and off. But the problem with that is when I moved to Oregon and I sounded just like everybody else in Oregon sounds, even though culturally I was in massive shock, right? But everybody just thinks I'm fucking stupid.
How old were you when you...
I was 19 when I first moved to Oregon.
Oh, wow.
I'm 38 now, so it's been a while. But growing up, I also lived in Japan. I did boarding school in Japan for a while in a place called Fukuoka, which is in the lower Honshu province. I was there for about 5 years.
Oh, wow.
So I was pretty integrated into, and then that area of Asia, like there's all sorts of ethnicities, Japanese, I mean, everything. And then coming here, there was just there's a big culture shock. But because I didn't have an accent, everybody just thought I was stupid. Like for the first time I rolled into 7-Eleven, I'd never seen any American candy, and I'm looking at it going like, what do I pick? Do I just take one of each? Like I've never tried any of this.
Yeah.
And people are just looking at me like I'm tripping balls or something in a 7-Eleven. They're like, what's wrong with her? If I had an accent, they'd be like, oh, she's a foreigner.
Yeah.
Like they would know I'm fresh off the fucking boat. But because I didn't have so backfire on that one, Dad.
Well, it could go either way, right? It depends on how open they are about people that are from somewhere else over there, right? Being a foreigner. I think it depends on the state you're in too. I think some more states are more accepting than others. I don't know how Oregon is.
Yeah, for sure. Like when we went on tour with Ingve, we did the East Coast run, and I was like, dude, I didn't spring for the USB rice cooker that I found on Amazon for $40. Okay, it plugs right into a fucking port right on the tour bus. I would have had rice like 24/7. No, I just figured there'd be a Chinese restaurant at least in one of the places that we were. No, there was no fucking rice anywhere, nowhere.
Ooh.
I ate pizza way too much. It was terrible.
Oh, the best.
So, note to self.
No, just kidding. And pizza is not the best everywhere. That's for sure. Oh my god, it's fucking dog shit in a lot of places.
And the more north, like poop after.
Yeah, the more north you go, the better the pizza gets. But anywhere too, like it's just the water is better. That's like a big ingredient part of the crust of pizza, and like you get a lot of hard water down south, and nobody believes me about this, but like trust me. I had a friend. He came with me to New York. I told him like, watch Taste This Pizza. We were like tried all this stuff, and I showed him the difference between like donuts and pizza and all that stuff. That's when you're near the Finger Lakes and stuff. It's different because it's softer water. So softer water makes your bread softer and stuff like that, and doesn't dry out as fast. And it has a better taste. So the further you go up north, I always get more excited because I'm like, oh, I have a higher chance of better pizza or like stuff like that. So
I did not know that. Pizza theory. Thank you.
We got just teaching each other stuff today. But so you lived over there. Is there any Japanese bands you like that you can think of, or did you ever get into the music over there of Japanese bands?
I didn't. Living over there was mostly academically focused. I mean, Asians in general are pretty strict about academics, but then like going to a Japanese boarding school was probably even like worse than that. So I mean, I spent all my time just trying to catch up to everybody else who was already like super entrenched in like a really rigid work schedule, academic schedule. So I really didn't have a lot of time for music at that point. I was just trying to keep up academically. It was a lot of pressure. But Japan was really nice. Like, I'll tell you, like, living there is one thing, visiting, like, I would never live there again. I think that
I hear that a
they're,
lot.
yeah, they're not quite ready for like the gaijin population to stay longer than a week
Yeah.
for tourism.
Yeah.
After that, then they start doing weird shit and like implementing sort of racist things to get you out of there. But at least visiting there is really awesome. I think everybody should do it at least once.
Yeah, gotcha. Now you were mentioning the fetishizing of like that the culture stuff, and there's definitely instances where that happens. Where with me coming into it is completely different. I think it stems from like just watching all the anime and stuff as a kid, and people just falling in love with it. And but there was did you witness a lot of that like in Oregon, like that going on in Oregon, like people doing that?
Yeah,
Because I know there's people like that. I haven't known people like that. I've heard about it, but I was also never part of that. I like never watched anime. I didn't really. I didn't do any. I'm watching Marvel comics. You know, that's what I was watching as a kid. Where Eric, complete opposite, completely into anime. Grew up, you know, watching that. So.
So then maybe Eric knows. Are you familiar with otaku? What otaku means, like otaku culture and all that?
Somewhat, like not specifically, but just like very generally.
In general, yeah. So the otaku thing is really more about like I think the Caucasian equivalent to that is like geeking, nerding. Guys who, you know, maybe like isolate themselves, stay in their mom's basement and just like geek out on all kinds of like anime and stuff like that. Not saying that's you, Eric. I'm just saying. That's
He's
what
like, that's
otaku
me.
Is. Well, the opposite is true for Americans. Like there's an American version of being an otaku, and that's like, you know, somebody who really loves like all of that, like anime and music, all of that, and then like specifically looks for a partner who's maybe Asian. That is different than like saying, I really love anime and I really appreciate Japanese culture and Japanese music and Japanese food. I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's like when you start planning your relationships around what ethnic background your partner is, that's, I feel like, when you start to cross that weird line of like, okay, now you're going into the fetishizing part of it versus like, I just really love all the things that are a part of their everyday life.
Gotcha. I always like to ask that because like there's another creator that went off about fetishizing, but he was pretty much saying everybody was like that, and I'm like listening to him like, I'm definitely not like that. Not only am I not attracted to like I just happen to be not attracted as a guy to girls that are Asian. I'm just not, you know, where like I know a lot of, so like when he was saying that all people, I'm like, nah, dude, I actually really like the music because if you listen to my style of music, it's very along the same lines of it. So like I always wondered that because like obviously that he came up with that idea from somewhere and it's probably very common and I'm just living in a bubble and don't know about it, you know, as much.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked that question. I was just curious about that.
Absolutely. And I wish more people would ask because it's almost like they're afraid. It's like the bad word in the room or like the elephant in the room. It's like nobody wants to really approach that subject. And I feel like if there's no real discourse on it, then how are you supposed to know, right? I mean, we shouldn't be afraid to ask questions about that kind of thing. I mean, at least for me, I'm always open to answering that kind of shit. Can't speak for everybody else, I guess.
No, I feel you on that. Like when you're like describing, like, yeah, I guess I fetishize a different thing. I was like, goddamn. Like when you think about it, you know, I think everybody has a little bit of that, like favor a certain group more than others or whatnot.
Absolutely, we're human, right? I mean, we have preferences. Of course, we have preferences. Just like you said, you don't like Asian women. I actually don't like. I'm not attracted at all to Asian guys. I feel like they're the least attractive group on the entire planet, and I'm sorry, but that's the truth. I like gaijin guys. My husband is American. He's white. Like that's my thing. So if I can have a thing, then of course everybody else can have a thing. So
exactly.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, it's like I tell everyone, but of course there's always gonna be an exception in every group where you're like, God damn,
Of course,
there's
yeah.
just always that thing where you like favor more than others. So, and I was just like, you're right. A lot of people are just like afraid to say it, and I think that's why
Yeah.
that guy did that video, because he knew it was polarizing though. But and his points were kind of bullshit. That's the thing that pissed me off, because he just kept reiterating like, you only like this Japanese song because you want to fuck him. Like, that's the way it came across, his message. You know what I mean? So like, not that he said that, but that's how it felt. You know, that's how it felt coming
that's what
off.
he was insinuating.
Yeah, that's what it felt like he was. Not saying he was. I'm not gonna even say his name and put words in his mouth. But it felt like you're like if you're not jerking off to him and like doing that, like you can't possibly like their music. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. What do you mean you can't possibly like the music? Like,
Wow.
I was like, I get it. You gotta be polarizing. U.S. has a huge issue with that, and but it is what it is. But it was funny. It was a fun video to react to. That's for sure. But yeah.
Well, I'm always down to jump on channels and do lives. So if you guys want to like burn another video, or you just want like some
absolutely.
ridiculous perspective, I'm always down, you guys. I'm so sorry. I have to pick up my kids in like 10 minutes. So
Okay.
I'm gonna have to jet here pretty quick. But
okay.
Thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it. I love that everybody tuned in. I think everybody was expecting some crazy like sparks to fly, but I'm just glad we were all able to have fun. Like,
yeah. No, we had sparks.
I appreciate that.
It was hilarious. You got to relish in the awkwardness, you know. It was definitely like.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a fun stream. You definitely should come on again. I think the next time you come on, you should roast us on one of our songs, maybe. And
yes,
yeah,
let's do it.
Let's see if you like it.
Oh,
There we go. Eric will bring one of his other band songs. We'll just do one of Eric's band songs. You can roast that.
True.
Maybe the one with Fopple on it.
all right, let's do it. I'm down.
All right.
I'm totally down.
I'm always up for a roast.
All right. Well, you have a good
Well,
one.
thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right,
Thank
to
you so
chat.
much for coming
See
on.
you.
Bye.
And stream. All right, cool. Just want to.